It is just fantastic to see so many of you here today for this vitally important discussion. I absolutely take on board all the news we've just heard about funding opportunities, but also just to say that we at the Fund recognise what a challenging time this is to be thinking about doing any work to your church when you're looking at the external environment you're all managing and the other significant changes. So really heartening to see such a good turnout today and have the opportunity to talk to you over the rest of today too. I'm the Director for Scotland for the National Lottery Heritage Fund. We're a UK organisation, but I am based here in Scotland and most of my team is here today. We have a stall which is behind me where I hope that you'll be able to engage in more conversations with the team as the day progresses about your churches and what its needs are. I just wanted to start with a quick introduction to us at the Fund, for those of you who don't know us so well. But we have worked for over 30 years in funding places of worship, from churches, cathedrals, synagogues, mosques, all kinds of places of worship all across the UK. We have a lot of experience there. And here in Scotland, we're an active member of the Places of Worship Forum, which is hosted by the Built Environment Forum Scotland. So you will probably know that we at the National Lottery Heritage Fund, we have the privilege of giving out money raised by selling National Lottery tickets. We're the largest funder of heritage in the UK, and we give grants for projects that protect, celebrate, and explore our nation's heritage. And you don't need me to tell you just how important churches are to that heritage. For centuries, our churches have been at the heart of our communities, providing that crucial space for celebration, meeting, worship, mourning, all sorts of important community activities. I've just realised I forgot my slides in my enthusiasm, so let me just get up to speed. A few details that I'm also aware that those of you at the back probably can't see any of these slides, so hopefully there'll be a way of circulating them around, but also some of the key details that you'll come in later on about how to apply for funding and our priorities and principles are also available on our website. And as I've said, our stall is at the back there for you to speak to staff from the fund also. So as you'll see here, since 1994, we've been awarding funding from the National Lottery, 30 years of investment in our heritage. We know that at this time, the church sector is facing a real number of significant challenges. There's this over-provision of church buildings for the needs of mission at this time, and therefore the disposal of churches. We're seeing across the sector, not just with churches, a real decline in volunteering numbers after the pandemic, skills shortages in the skills to care for the historic buildings, and of course a host of maintenance issues that these complex buildings like the one we're in today face. So I suppose also just a thanks to you for all of that commitment for you as a sector to enabling us as funders to get that money where it needs to go to protect that heritage. Over the years, we've supported places of worship of all sizes. So for those of you who can't see, this is Roslin Cathedral, which I'm sure you will be, Roslin Chapel, you'll be familiar with, St Giles in Edinburgh, St Margaret's Braemar there. Really delighted to have just been giving that some funding to move into hopefully a new and bright future. And Garnet Hill Synagogue. As you saw in the previous slide, over £1 billion have been given out to help support places of worship in the UK from the National Lottery. So our commitment is absolutely there. And that support has not only come out to individual churches, but also sometimes we've worked in partnership, so with Historic Environment Scotland over the years through our Open Grants programme. And we are really pleased to support the National Churches Trust and Cherish programme as well, which is just vital. So one of the reasons I'm so pleased to be here today is to just tell you about our new strategy we launched last year, Heritage 2033. It's a 10-year strategy which our board felt reflected the really fast-paced changing environment and the need for us to have a stability of funding over 10 years so that you who want to apply to us can really see what funding will be available from us and how that will be assessed over a really lengthy period of time. We won't be changing our plans on you. You will know what we will be funding. Under the strategy, we've got set out 4 key investment principles that we hope to see achieved through our funding. For those of you who can't see that, these are on our websites. They're saving heritage, protecting the environment, inclusion, access and participation, and a new and really important one, organisational sustainability. And in addition to these open programmes, our board for the first time have identified a number of really critical strategic priorities where they want us to focus our energy, our effort and our resources moving forwards. And the first of these is places of worship, Heritage in Need Places of Worship. It's our first strategic initiative, and the aim there is to help places of worship tackle all those heritage challenges that I've just touched on, and others have touched on, to secure the historic fabric, but also to thrive as organisations into the future so that you can support your mission, your local communities, and welcoming in new visitors too. We recognise how complex places of worship are and the different needs that each of you will have. So while you can have a look on our website and see what the application processes are, I'd really urge you to come and have a conversation with us about what you need to do to make your church thrive, because I know each one is in such different circumstances, different places, different communities, and different challenges. So the first part of this strategic initiative that our board have just announced is that we'll be making £15 million available across the UK for strategic change management, strategic change initiatives. So this is going to hopefully actively address some of those challenges in a systemic way at a national or regional level, support strategic projects, address heritage gaps, and work collaboratively with the sector. And I'm absolutely delighted today to be able to announce that under this £15 million strategic investment, we've just awarded nearly £500,000 to the Development Trust Association Scotland to enable them to work with those community organisations that might take on the churches that are being disposed of at the moment through the major programme of disposal that we have here in Scotland. The project will provide support for early stage opportunities for community ownership to help secure those important heritage assets for the local communities within which they are situated, and it will include a range of activities, dedicated one-to-one advice, mentoring, opportunities for peer-to-peer engagement, and a microgrants programme as well, so that communities can engage in the planning and development of their ideas. And to deliver this, DTAS is going to work really closely with a number of other organisations, BEFS, Historic Environment Scotland, and produce resources that we hope can get used across the UK. So this is just the start. As I said, we announced this the other month, and this is the first of those tranches of strategic funding, but we really hope that others in this room will be coming to us for some of that support. As well as supporting strategic initiatives like this DTAS programme, our teams across the whole of the UK at the National Archaeology Heritage Fund are going to be driving efforts, energy and resources to support individual places of worship, churches, synagogues, as I said, and others, to come in and apply for our open programmes. So you can see here, for example, St Mark's Portobello, where we awarded £135,000 in July this year. And that project is to improve a much-used building to create opportunities to engage new groups and increase organisational sustainability. That's the kind of project we want to fund more of in the future. So if you have repair needs, for example, and your church doesn't have to be listed, it doesn't have to be a church that's in use. It might have religious use, but it might be one that's has been disposed of. Come and speak to us not only about the repair work that you need, but also about what you need to make that church work in the future. Does it need a new kitchen? Does the access need to be improved? I hate to mention toilets, but they are probably one of the most important aspects of getting a building to work well. All of those things we're interested in making work alongside repairing the building. And I know that each church, as I said, will have different needs, but it's trying to think about back to that organisational sustainability principle that we have. How do we actually make it work well? How do we make it really thrive into the future? So thank you for listening. If you have any questions or think we might be able to help, as I've mentioned quite a few times now, we're here. Come and talk to us. We're open to discussions about opportunities, ideas, how we can work together, things we can do differently in the future. Thank you for listening, and we look forward to continuing to support the sector moving forwards.